Hello, welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you are new. My name is Amy and I'm on a 120-pound weight loss journey. We are in a different part of my kitchen today. This is actually the dining room portion. My dining room table is right here. I'm against the wall. There's actually decor in here. I promise it's not just like totally blank. But today we're going to be talking pantry staples. Now for this video, I'm not including seasonings, sauces, spices, any of that stuff. We're just going to be talking about a couple things from the freezer, but everything else is going to be shelf stable. And I will do a separate video on my favorite like bouillons and spices, seasonings, all that. I could even do a sauce one. So let me know what you guys want to see. But today we're just going to talk through a few of the things. I'm not going to keep you very long. A few of the things that I have in my pantry at all times. Let's get started. First thing is this, and I'm going to hold everything up so that you can see. I know you can't see the table, but that's okay. So this is rice. This is jasmine rice. Now, I feel like rice might be kind of obvious, but there are so many different varieties of rice. I keep mine in this large container. It was only $8 at Old Time Pottery. This is jasmine rice. In my cabinet, I also have a little basmati rice. I have sushi rice, and I have arborio rice, which is for risotto. So I always have rice. Now, a lot of people love brown rice. I don't like brown rice, so I don't have it in my house. It just doesn't make sense to do that. I do have wild rice, though. I really like wild rice. And I have some black rice. It's called forbidden rice, actually. So, rice is obviously good for so many things. I really like to make sushi bowls. I also like to put this under soups, stews, all kinds of things. So rice is a staple for me. Yes, you can have rice and still lose weight. I've done that. So rice, and then we'll go into another starch, which is noodles. Now, I don't eat a ton of like traditional American pasta. I do eat a lot of ramen. So I have many different kinds of noodles in my cabinet at all times. These are just Japanese ramen noodles. Yeah, so these come in little bundles and you can cook the individual bundles. I also have rice noodles are really good. Rice noodles I think are a little lower in calorie as well, so you can feel free to use those. But I prefer ramen. They are a little more calorie dense, but I don't eat them all the time, and I load them with veggies, so they make a great meal, actually. Here is a brand of instant ramen that is really good. It's only 200 calories a pack. I rarely, if ever, use an entire flavoring pack of a ramen. This one's actually pretty low in sodium considering how most packaged ramen can be. This is the tofu miso, but this brand, they have tons, and I will link them down below. I will link anything that I can down below. So yeah, I really like these. These are made with, there's 2 ingredients for the noodles, organic wheat flour and sea salt. So if you just wanted this for the noodles, you could do that as well. And then these are higher in calories. Again, and I do not use the entire seasoning packet. This brand makes a kimchi version too. I haven't been able to find that recently. I used to eat it all the time. But this one is kind of spicy anyway. But yeah, this one's vegan, and this is a big serving. This whole packet says it's 480 calories. I still add lots of vegetables. Like I said, I don't really add too much of the sodium, the seasoning. I call it sodium packet. The seasoning packet that comes with it. I tend to make my own. But my husband really likes this one as well, and he doesn't like instant ramen, but he likes this one. So this is nutritional yeast. I just keep mine in an airtight container. Nutritional yeast is, I find, like essential for vegans. If you don't like it, give it a chance. I promise it's good. It's good as soup, stews, sauces like pasta sauces, on popcorn. This stuff is very, very versatile. I buy mine from a bulk section at my local health food store. We don't have like a Whole Foods or anything, but I buy it from Peppermints. And then I just put it in this container here. So yeah, this stuff is really good. It's pretty cheap, and it's got amazing flavor. People say it tastes cheesy. I think it kind of tastes buttery in my opinion. It's really high in vitamins like B12, and it's also high in protein. So another staple. Well, these are all staples. Duh. And then we have the lovely, and I didn't take these out of containers because I figured you guys are okay with that. These are raw cashews. Now you can buy whole cashews. These are actually cashew pieces because it is like half the price to buy these in bulk in cashew pieces as opposed to whole cashews. I'm just gonna soak them anyway and blend them up. So it doesn't really matter to me if their pieces are whole, but these are raw. You don't want roasted. Well, I mean, I guess you do if you want to eat them, but these are the best ones for sauces. So from Alfredo sauce, ranch, all dressings and stuff like that, I typically use soaked cashews, and yeah, they just keep really well in the cabinet. And that's that. Next up, popcorn. These are actually called, this is ladyfinger popcorn, which is the tiniest little kernels. But of course you can put, you know, you can have any popcorn on hand. I use just kernels, and I have a microwave air popper. Now you can buy the ones that like sit on the counter and air pop, but I have a microwave silicone one that I really like. So popcorn, it's essential. It makes a wonderful snack. Obviously great for movie nights and things when I would usually eat chips for. I just grab some popcorn. Can't go wrong with it. I'm gonna go back to grains. Now I have a bunch of grains in my pantry. I did not pull them all out for you, but one that I think is essential, and not everybody has to have, you know, the same grains as I do in their pantry. Not everybody's going to, but this is quinoa. This is a tricolor quinoa. Quinoa can be just like the red, just the brown, just the white. Quinoa comes in all kinds of different colors. But yeah, quinoa is really good again in soup, stews, as a base. It's a good base for like a Buddha bowl. I really like fresh dill and lemon with quinoa as like a little quinoa salad. You can make tabbouleh, which is usually made with, why can't I think of it? I'll insert what it is, but you can also use quinoa in it as well. So yeah, quinoa is really good for you. Super high in a bunch of vitamins and minerals, and really high in protein as well. So quinoa is a great grain to have on hand. It's also really cheap. Speaking of high in protein, we have the famous lentil. I like red lentils. I do not like brown lentils. I do not like green lentils. I use them a couple of times a year maybe, so I don't really keep them on hand. I have a can of brown lentils that are already cooked, but I don't have any other ones in my house because I just don't use them. But if that's your thing, you use those. I make vegan sloppy joe mix out of red lentils. I put red lentils in my chili. They're great in a pasta sauce. Red lentils get kind of mushier than like a green or brown lentil, and they add kind of like a meaty texture to me to those sauces and chili and things like that. Again, a pretty cheap, affordable. I can buy this in bulk as well at that local health food store, and I just store it in these plastic containers. These are from Sam's Club, by the way. I did have some glass ones, but they weren't airtight, and I had some issues with that. So I just bought some airtight containers. They're also really pretty, I think. But yeah, red lentils, really good for you, high in protein. Lentils have a lot of healing properties too, so definitely check that out. And as always, I haven't said this, but whenever I use any of these, the rice, whatever, I rinse my grains. Always rinse like your grains, your legumes. Yeah, that's what it's called. So yeah, always rinse them first. Speaking of legumes, I have a variety of canned beans at all times. Now I also have some dried. I didn't pull them out for you because I didn't want to pull out everything in my pantry, and I didn't feel like that was necessary. But I do have a few dried beans. I don't think dried beans are as like a staple as canned beans in my opinion, because canned beans are obviously already ready to go. Rinse them, use them, you're good to go. Dried beans take a little more time and effort and possibly preparation if you want to soak them. I have an Instant Pot, so I don't really have to soak them, but anyway, still takes a lot longer to cook. Canned beans are a savior. So I have a bunch more than this in my cabinet, but I just pulled out a no salt added dark red kidney bean. I try to get no salt added when possible. This is just the Walmart brand here. Black beans, no salt added. Chickpeas, these are not no salt added, but it's fine. And the liquid from this, the aquafaba, you can use as an egg white replacer in a lot of recipes. And then I have some no salt added pinto beans. These make great like refried beans. Also, all of these are good in chili soups. Make hummus with these. But yeah, I don't use dried beans that often. I have some. I plan to use what I have. But these are so good for so many things. The black beans are really like in burrito bowls, just on the go. Chickpeas I make a killer Mediterranean bowl with. So I always rinse these. Rinsing the liquid that they come in is going to release some of those, I don't want to use the word chemicals, compounds that can cause gas. So just rinse your beans. And that's my spiel on that. Next up in my pantry, I always have several different tomato products. So I always have some either crushed or diced tomatoes. I usually have both. This is an organic one. These are fire roasted. Fire roasted are my favorite for chili, as you can imagine, and some other soups. And I also have like a basil garlic one, and I have some original ones. I have crushed, diced. I like to keep canned tomatoes. Really good for soups, stews, and sauces on the go. I do make my own homemade tomato soup. I usually use fresh tomatoes, but I use these sometimes. I make my own marinara a lot as well. And then tomato sauce. Obviously, I feel like this is just a good additive to boost that tomato flavor. And then finally, tomato paste, a super concentrated version. I'm gonna tell you a hack that totally works that I tried for the first time the other day. Instead of trying to scrape all the tomato paste out of a can, which they do sell in tubes, by the way, you can take the lid off of the top and the bottom, just use the can opener, open both, and take a spoon and push it out, and the whole thing comes out. Didn't know this was a hacks video, but it is now. All right, so let's go to the one seed that I think is a staple. Now, some people will say chia seeds are, sesame seeds. I do have both, but if you're gonna have one, I would go for the flax seed. Now, this is already ground flax seed. You can buy this. It may say flaxseed meal. It's the same thing. Ground flaxseed, really high in your omegas, which are fatty acids that your body needs. This also makes a great egg replacer. So you can mix this with some water and do a flax egg, which is really nice. But yeah, this I just sprinkle on things, put it in a smoothie. And this also is pretty high in protein, but it's mostly those fatty acids that you're gonna want, the omegas, omega-3s. So flax seeds, super cheap, super easy. I keep mine in the freezer. I keep my chia seeds, sesame seeds, this flax seed in the freezer. I don't keep the cashews in the freezer. You could, but I do keep most of my nuts and seeds in there. I don't keep the raw cashews in there because I go through these so quickly that it's not necessary. Okay, we're almost done. The last thing I want to talk about keeping on hand always is frozen vegetables. I'm just showing you, these are Walmart. These are less than $1 each. Actually, this one's the organic because they were out of peas. But yeah, I keep starchy and non-starchy, so I keep frozen corn and peas. I like those in soups, ramen, chowder, all kinds of stuff. And then I have broccoli too in the freezer. I just didn't pull it out. I have frozen cauliflower, frozen Brussels sprouts. These are good if you run out of fresh produce in your fridge, obviously, that you can use those. Again, good in soups, stews, sauces, that kind of thing. But I think they're essential to have on hand just in case. You never know when you're gonna need veggies and you don't have them. Or sometimes some of these I do prefer frozen for certain things. Yeah, like I really like frozen corn, obviously, and frozen peas. Yeah, frozen cauliflower and broccoli work really well in something like ramen. I don't tend to eat those by themselves, but I could. So those are just some of my pantry staples that I wanted to share with you guys. These I feel like are very basic. I have in my pantry a lot of more specialty things that I would be happy to share with you guys, but I do plan to do a spices video and a seasonings because I want to share with you the different bouillons I use for like veggie stocks and just the different seasonings in general. So I will film that soon. But for now, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on those notifications so you get notified every time I upload a new video. Let me know in the comments too if you feel like I missed something that is a pantry staple for you. And I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.